Hello guys, it's Tuesday, March 5th, and we have a 6-game NBA slate. So starting off at point guard, Russell Westbrook. He's going to be my main guy, my main spend up. He's my favorite option at point guard and just overall on this slate if I'm going to pay up. Even though he hasn't played that well in his past 3 games with Paul George out. Philly, that was an okay game for him. But by his standards, we probably would be looking for like a 70-plus performance. Here against Minnesota, I really do like him a lot better compared to against the Spurs and the Grizzlies. And he's 11.3K, price is a little bit down. Paul George is still going to be out for this game, so Westbrook's usage is still going to be there. And there's a phenomenal spot. Jeff Teague, Derrick Rose, Tyus Jones, they're not that great of defenders. They might throw in Josh Okogie to defend him, but Russell Westbrook, he's just an animal, and we know what he can do. Triple-double upside, and 11.3K definitely somebody that you need to look at because it is a 6-game slate, so a little bit of a smaller-ish slate. But I just rather pay for Westbrook over James Harden, who is going to get a very tough matchup, and Chris Paul is back for this game. It's not the same as the first time, which Harden was playing the Raptors again or without Chris Paul, and this time they're going to be playing with him, and Harden is also just going to be defended by Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, just very good individual defenders, team defense, just not really the right matchup for him. So I'm going to be staying away from Harden, probably not going to be playing any of him. And next, Steph Curry. I think he's a nice play. We know he has tremendous upside at home, and he's just an incredible three-point shooter. And Klay Thompson might miss this game. He is questionable. Andre Iguodala also is questionable. I think I'd definitely consider Curry more if Klay Thompson were to be out, but right now I'd probably put Kyrie ahead of Curry, just because he's $200 cheaper, and Kyrie is the main guy for Boston, where you have KD, and Cousins, Draymond, these other guys that are all-stars on the Warriors that just take up some of the usage too. So I prefer Kyrie here, and Kyrie steps up in big games, obviously. It is a bit of a chemistry issue going on in Boston, but definitely I think Kyrie's the play over Curry, but again, Westbrook's my favorite play here. Kyrie, Curry probably are guys that I would go to or have a little bit of ownership if I'm trying to make multiple lineups. Ben Simmons, this is actually a pretty tough matchup for all the Philly players. The Orlando Magic are actually first in defensive rating the past few weeks, I believe, the past few games. So they've definitely stepped it up, and the Magic are trying to make a run for the playoffs. So they're trying to play all these games, like just full minutes for all their stars and everything. And Ben Simmons is going to be here at 8.4K at home. And sure, Joel Embiid is going to be out again. Usage is going to be there for Simmons. Rebounding rates are going to be up. Everything should see some nice minutes again here. This is going to be a little bit of a slower pace matchup because Orlando is a slower pace team, but Philly is at home, so they should be able to control some of that pace. And we know triple-double upside exists here. Same thing. Definitely a pick from if you want to pivot like Westbrook to Simmons, that definitely makes some sense. You save almost 3K, but just keep in mind Orlando is a pretty good defense, and we could probably see like a guy like Jonathan Isaac guarding Ben Simmons. Definitely a pretty nice defender there, but we know Simmons, just the usage increase with Embiid off the floor, definitely makes sense to play Simmons. Lillard, not going to be a guy that I'm going to be on. Conley should be able to return for this game. He's not going to be listed on the injury report as of now, so not somebody I want. CP3, somebody that I do have some interest in, just because usually the games that James Harden isn't really like hot, Chris Paul's usually somebody that will take over. We've seen that against some of these other times that Harden hasn't been himself, like against the Lakers. That Golden State game, Harden was out. So Chris Paul, this is a spot that is tough against Kyle Lowry, but we've seen Chris Paul go against tough defenses, tough point guard matchups, that he's just still able to put up really good numbers, and he's only 7.7K here. This is a primetime matchup, so Chris Paul should be able to perform as long as he is playing. Other point guards, Dennis Schroeder, 5.5K. Not going to really be on him, even though PG is out, just because you're not going to see these minutes probably again. And also, he's not going to get another career night in rebounding. And so, probably not even 22 shots either. And that just means that his ownership is going to be up. And he's not really a guy that produces so much in all these categories. So last game was just more of an outlier. So I'm not going to really be on Schroeder here. I prefer Collison actually to Schroeder. This is an excellent matchup for Collison. Chris Dunn is a pretty nice defender, but Collison is just the main dude, main ball handler for this team without Oladipo. He's only 5.5K in a nice matchup, and he's going to be at home too. Bulls, as a team, they're not good at defending, so I like Collison. He's just going to get nice usage, nice pick and roll with Turner, Thad Young, so 5.5K is too cheap for him. Jeff Teague is a nice GPP option. I do like him because just his minutes are not consistent. He's returning from injury, so maybe he's just been limited recently, and he lost a few minutes due to blowout last game. He's a guy that definitely has a really good upside, and his price is down lower this time. Russell Westbrook is not that great of a defender, so as long as he stays out of foul trouble and gets his minutes really, he could be a phenomenal GPP play with really 50-point upside and closer to 10x. Definitely that's really ceiling outlook, but Teague, this price just seems pretty cheap for him. And with Conley back, I'm not going to be on the long ride or Avery Bradley. Corey Joseph, he's not going to play as many minutes now, but you can still look for value from him just because he is going to get at least 20 minutes. And Tyreek Evans is back. That's why he's not playing the 32-29 minutes that he was seeing. But he still gets nice usage with the second unit, and he plays some nice minutes with the first unit too. For shooting guard, guys that I haven't mentioned yet, CJ McCollum is interesting just because in the rare games that like Lillard or those stars are just off, McCollum does play a lot of the minutes with the bench. So he's actually one of the stars that is going to be pretty safe in terms of his minutes. This is a tough matchup against Avery Bradley, but he is 6K, slower pace matchup, that's why. But McCollum, he has some nice upside. We know what he can do. And he's only 6K again, so this is a nice spot just in terms of the price. GPP play going to be really low, probably like under 10%. So McCollum, definitely a guy that you should have a little bit of shares in if you're like a max entry type of player. Elsewhere, not a great match for Terrence Ross, but he definitely has the upside, and nobody's really going to be on him because he shot like 1 for 12 last game, and he's going to be, playing high 20s, close to 30 minutes, and he's down to 4.7K now. And then Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, they could see some extra minutes just because of for their defense against Golden State. Wesley Matthews is pretty cheap here, 4.1K. He's just more of a cash play. He doesn't really have a ceiling here. He can get you to like 7x, possibly 8x, but you're really stretching it there. He just plays some really nice minutes. He's starting for this team now, and he's just a guy that's going to do a little bit of everything for you, but not a whole lot. And this is just a really safe cash game play. And then Andre Iguodala, 3.8K. He is questionable with back soreness, I believe. He has some back issue, but if he were to play against Boston, 3.8K, especially if Klay Thompson were to miss, he's a pretty nice play just because he's going to be a pretty safe option, I would say, with really nice upside actually, with closer to like 9, 8x. 3.8K at home, should be able to get some nice minutes, at least 25 or so. Small forward, Kevin Durant, 9.1K. I probably prefer KD over Curry actually. If Klay were to miss, then I prefer Curry. But Durant here against Boston, it's just because like Boston, they have some of these like nice defenders like Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, that they could throw at Curry. But for KD, just his size and length make him unguardable. So KD, 9.1K, not a must play, but definitely worth a look. Tobias Harris, 7.4K. People could look at him just because of a revenge narrative, but that's not something that I really want to play. But apart from that, he is still in a good spot. Not matchup-wise, because I've mentioned that Orlando's really solid defensively recently, but no Embiid again. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. They're just all going to get nice usage bumps. Butler is currently with the Q tag, but he is expected to play. He just didn't practice today. But if Butler were to miss, then obviously Tobias and Simmons are going to be a lot more in play. Thaddeus Young is interesting, but not going to be somebody that I'm targeting because I do like Miles Turner a whole lot more. Also like Darren Collison. Jonathan Isaac, price is down, but his minutes actually have come down a little bit recently, and he hasn't been showing that same upside that he was showing earlier. Not taking as many shots. A few minutes have been lost. Aminu and Harkless, they don't see that many minutes as starters, and Evan Turner is going to be back from injury. So more Harkless, definitely you should not really, play as much of him, but he's been playing really well, so I probably would say you can still see the same kind of minutes. I think Evan Turner could get some minutes from other players like Jake Layman, and also Evan Turner has not actually been seeing that many minutes before he got injured, so Turner's not really going to see his usual 20 plus minutes. So Harkless I still really like here. 4K, not a great matchup, but he is cheap and he can produce a whole lot of categories. And Memphis' small forward defense is kind of middle in the pack, and they've actually allowed a lot of rebounds and steals to this position. A lot of 3-point looks, 3 points made. So this is definitely something that Mo Harkless could take advantage of. He's not a phenomenal shooter, but the rebounding and steal upside is definitely there for Harkless. Caboclo is not a guy that I really want to roster. Even though Ivan Rabb's probably going to be out, he's probably going to get the start. Tyreek Evans is only 3.3K. He should be back, or he has been back for a game, but just not something I want to be looking at here. Power forward, Markkanen, not in a great matchup, but definitely usage is there. Al Horford, 6.3K, is somebody that I have interest in. In closer games like these, tougher matchups, closer just opponents, Horford's a guy that gets extra run. He gets extra minutes. He's played a few extra minutes, upper 30s even. We see against Philly, against Milwaukee, against Portland, just closer games against tough opponents. They definitely want Al Horford out there, and he gets the minutes, and he definitely steps up too in this play. So he has really good upside at this price, 6.3K, very affordable, and he's going to see 30 plus minutes. Should see around, I'd say 34 is probably a nice projection for him. But he's a very good, solid all-around center, so he can contribute in a lot of ways. And they did play one time earlier this year. He put up a really nice line, and that was also with DeMarcus Cousins already back. So this isn't a new matchup for Horford or anything. Draymond Green, 5.6K is just really cheap. Not something we're gonna be locking in all my lineups, but definitely carries a whole lot of upside just because he can get you a triple double. He hasn't shown the same rebounding upside because Cousins is back and he's taking a lot of the rebounds away, but he's a guy that can get you those defensive stats. He can get you double-digit assists. He's a phenomenal facilitator. Not going to take a whole lot of shots, so that's why it's hard to get there. But he can do it in so many different ways. He can just get points in all 5 of the categories. So he's a really nice play at only 5.6K. This is the cheapest that we've seen him all season. Taj Gibson, 4K. He's not going to see a whole lot of minutes, but he's really productive when he does get those minutes. Mike Scott is 4K. I think they probably are going to use Mike Scott a fair amount this game just because a lot of their big men are hurt, and they might actually not have any real true centers this game. And they might call up Patton, but Mike Scott, he's undersized, but they might have to just use him because they really don't have anyone. Obviously, we have to wait on the starting lineup and how the injuries go, but Nikola Vucevic is a traditional, not really traditional because he can shoot 3, but he's a bigger center, and Mike Scott's not going to be able to handle him, so Philly might need somebody else, but they really don't have a whole lot of options, so Mike Scott could play potentially around 30 minutes again, and that means that he'd definitely carry a good upside for his price. Jonah Bolden, he doesn't have a tag, but he I believe he's questionable or doubtful even. But he definitely he is listed on the injury report, but he just doesn't have a tag on DraftKings for some reason. But if he were to play, definitely he's going to get some nice minutes because Amir Johnson, I think he is doubtful or already ruled out. Yeah, that's it for power forward. Center, Towns, 10.6K. People don't like playing this guy when Jeff Teague is back, but I think there's still very good upside in Cat just because he is the main guy here. And 10.6K against Steven Adams is a tough matchup, but if you're playing multiple lineups, I definitely wouldn't want some shares of him. I don't think he's going to be high owned at all this game unless like Wiggins or Teague is going to be out, but he's at home, which means he plays a lot better at home. He gets a whole lot of usage. He is the main guy here again. He has tremendous upside, and even though the matchup last game was good, like we look at against Indiana at Indiana too, 70.3. Just there's a whole lot of upside with Towns here, and his price is nice against OKC, another fast-paced team, play faster than Minnesota, and I just think Cat has really good upside here. 10.6K. He's a guy that you can definitely target in GPPs. He's not going to be more of a cash play, but just GPPs, he has 70-point upside, and Steven Adams is a guy that people definitely respect because he is a solid defender. But Towns, he's just got that upside, and that's what you want in GPPs. Nikola Vucevic, I actually prefer over Cat because he is $1,400 cheaper, and he gets a better matchup. Philly, because there's no Embiid, we don't really know what they're going to throw out at him because all their centers are pretty much hurt or sick. But he's only 9.2. He's been just having a phenomenal season, and recently he's been playing really well too. He's really safe. He has a really nice floor too, ceiling. And so 9.2K, even though it's away, it doesn't really matter to me. Gets you 30 plus minutes a night as long as the game stays close. This should be a nice game here because there is no Embiid. I expect it to stay close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. DeMarcus Cousins isn't really going to be something I'm going to play. AK, just with all the All-Stars around him, no thank you. Valanciunas and Nurkic kind of cancel each other out for me. Just they're both pretty solid. Like defensively, they're big. Capella is kind of interesting. 6.6K seems a little bit cheap for him, but Marcus Gasol is just a phenomenal defender. But Capella, he sees a lot of minutes for a center, and he's not having the same scoring ability that we've been accustomed to seeing all season long. But we know that he can definitely do it, and if like Toronto decides to take Harden away or something, we can definitely see a lot more like lobs or passes, hook shots from Capella. And we know his rebounding. He's a phenomenal rebounder and a shot blocker. Miles Turner, 5.7K, and Marcus Gasol, 5.7K. Both are great plays for me. I prefer Miles Turner right now just because of the matchup. Chicago's Robin Lopez is not the same as Clint Capella, who Marcus Gasol is going to be facing. And Turner, he's a phenomenal shot blocker and defender. This is a really good matchup for shot blocking. The Bulls, I think, are the sixth most blocked team in the NBA, so the shot blocking opportunity is definitely there for Miles Turner. And we know without Oladipo, there's going to be a lot of pick and roll, a lot of pick and pops. Turner should be able to get around double-digit shots, and he's not the best rebounder, but we know he's a center. He can definitely get you a few around like his average is 6.8. So 6 rebounds is a good bet, and he can definitely get you like double-digit points and get you those blocks, which are +2. Plays around 30 minutes if the game stays close. Really like him. Only 5.7K. Just seems too cheap. Marcus Gasol, same thing. He gets a lot more minutes now that he's been starting. I think he definitely would start. But if the Rockets do go small later in this game, definitely I'd expect Marcus Gasol to lose some minutes. But he's only 5.7K. We know his upside. It's just kind of insane that he's still priced so cheap. But he's a phenomenal passing big man. He's a phenomenal defender. He gets you points in so many different ways. So I really like Marcus Gasol. Gasol and Turner are really close for me. Obviously, if Gasol were to not start, then it'd be Miles Turner. Other than those two, looking at value, I don't really see anything. So as of now, I really like Russell Westbrook as the main stud to play. And then I think Draymond Green is just underpriced. And then Al Horford is in a phenomenal spot just because of the minutes and how he produces in big-time games. Center, I like Vucevic and Towns, but if you put in Towns, you're really just it's kind of hard to fit. Vucevic, same thing, so I probably would just put I'll put Marcus Gasol in for now, but Miles Turner, they're just really close. And then I think Chris Paul's in a phenomenal spot too because he's a guy that definitely steps up. So these are the 5 guys that I like. Definitely, it's still early. There's some injuries to watch, so we're gonna have to watch or just check back on that. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, and also please subscribe to the channel for more videos. Also follow me on my Twitter at Boffles. The link will be in the description below. I'll usually post out some of my top plays, especially if I'm not posting a video that day, or you can just ask me any questions. You can just tweet at me or DM me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you guys for watching and good luck on this slate. Bye.